They told him he had 5 good years left. That was 15 years ago. He's still standing, still speaking, still living. This is Living with Parkinson's, the good, the bad, and the reality. A podcast about what happens when life throws you something incurable, and you fight back anyway. Hosted by Bryce Perry. Diagnosed at 40, 15 years into the battle. This is the truth behind the tremor. Let's begin.
Good morning, and I'm fine. Good afternoon, and I need help walking. Well, welcome to Parkinson's, where every day feels like a brand new game show called What's Your Symptom? Do you ever feel like you're stuck in a game of like symptom hide and seek? 1 hour you're moving fine, the next your leg feels like it's made of concrete or your hand's doing the cha-cha. That's the thing about Parkinson's. The symptoms that come and go are enough to make anyone crazy. Hey, I'm Bryce, and this is Living with Parkinson's, the good, the bad, and the reality. And if you're looking for real talk, hope, and a community that actually gets what you're going through, hit subscribe because this channel is for you. Well, right off the top, let's make this real. What's the one symptom that comes and goes for you or just drives you or your family nuts? Drop it in the comments below. You know what? I read and I reply to every single one, and your story helps more than you know. Okay, well, let's get into today's topic. And let's just be honest. This is one of the wildest, most maddening parts of Parkinson's. For me, the symptom that comes and goes is like a moving target. Sometimes it's stiffness. Like I wake up and I feel almost normal. Then the hallway, and then halfway through the morning, my left leg decides, nope, not today. And suddenly I'm dragging it around like it weighs 50 pounds. I've learned not to fight off moments. And this is the tip for you. I've learned not to fight off moments. If my body's telling me it's time to take a break, then I try to give myself a few minutes to sit, stretch, or just breathe. And sometimes that short pause is all I need to get moving again. A while back, I had plans to meet up with a friend, and I felt great, right? I was getting ready. I felt great. I showered, I dressed. I even managed to make myself look presentable, which, as you know me, is an achievement on its own. But as soon as I got to the restaurant and I stood up to greet him, it was like my body just quit cooperating. My foot wouldn't move, and I found myself clinging to the back of a chair like it was a life raft. And here's another tip. When this happens, I've learned to not panic, right? I just let the people around me know what's up. Sometimes a quick explanation like, hey, I'm having an off moment, I just need a second, can take the stress and the embarrassment out of it completely. Or the hand tremor. Sometimes it disappears for days, and I start thinking maybe today is the day it's gone for good. And then just as I'm pouring my coffee, my hand decides it's going to do its best impression of the maraca, right? And now I'm just wearing half of my coffee. So another kind of tip here, like if you struggle with a tremor, try using cups with lids, right? Trust me, less coffee on your shirt is more coffee in your mouth. And I've got like these, like I pick up or I get or I give, or sometimes I'm given or I buy, even like McDonald's cups with the lids, or if you're in Canada, Tim Hortons cups with the lids. And when I make my coffee in the morning, I literally pour it into one of those cups with the lids, and it just makes it so much easier. And I felt more like an adult. My wife, she was like going on to give me like a sippy cup almost, like like a plastic sippy cup thing. Just, for my first coffee in the morning, because I'm typically was spilling it all over myself. And I don't know, it just didn't feel adult enough. So I kind of feel it's kind of cool if I have a coffee takeout mug instead, and it kind of looks, or a coffee takeout cup, and it looks, like I bought it. But regardless, do the things that are going to help you. Right? Do those things, because you never know when those symptoms are going to come up, and they are frustrating. They just come out of the blue, right? One day drinking my coffee fine, the next day I can't. The next day I drink my coffee fine, the next day I can't. And I can go through 3 of those days in a row, or 3 off days in a row like that. And it just becomes, it is what it is, right? It just becomes one of those things. But you know what? One thing that really drives me crazy, and you might be the same way, and maybe you are, and if you are, let me know. If I had a dime for every time someone said, but you seemed fine this morning. If I had a dime for that, I'd be making YouTube videos from a yacht. It's confusing for family and friends. I get it. I remember planning a family outing one time, and not some epic adventure, just going out for groceries. And I was steady and I was moving well at home. And by the time we reached the parking lot, my muscles tightened up and needed help just to get inside the store. The looks I got, some worried, some confused. made me want to, hand out a business card or something that said like today's symptoms brought to you by Parkinson's. Now you see them, now you don't. That's pretty cool. That would actually make some good swag, like a t-shirt, right? That's right. Today's symptoms brought to you by Parkinson's. Now you see them, now you don't. Crazy, but frustrating. But here's the thing. I started giving my family and my friends a quick heads up before I even go out, right? Sometimes I'm like, hey, I'm having a really good morning and I look great and everything's going well, but things can change, right? So if you see me slowing down, yeah, I might need a hand. It's not a big deal, but I might need a hand. And, again, just prepping them up, it takes the pressure off me and it helps them know what to expect. And it also helps them to know what I expect, right? So I'm like, hey, everything looks great. We're going to have a great day today. And we're going to have a great day today regardless. But if all of a sudden a symptom comes in and you see me freeze or I can't grab something or I can't pick something up, I might need your help. So I'm basically telling them and giving them permission at that moment, if they do see me struggling or they see something going different, to help me. And just setting the stage makes the day easier. Because you know what? It's really exhausting to have to explain over and over again that, Parkinson's symptoms can switch on and off like a light bulb, right? We don't have that on and off button. No warning, and definitely don't wait on a user manual, but we work just the same. We're on, we're off, and sometimes we don't even know when that's going to happen. So it's just, I'm tired of explaining it. So instead, I just kind of precursor it. Because you know what? The explaining gets old. Honestly, there's days when I just want to put up a sign and I just want to say, yes, I was fine earlier. No, I don't know what happened. Yes, it could change me again in 10 minutes, right? There's this mix of embarrassment and guilt and a weird kind of anger, not at anybody, but just at the situation. I remember one time I was at a family dinner and I felt so awkward because I needed help getting up. I could see the worry on everybody's face. But what do you do? What do you do? I don't know, laugh when you can and just keep moving forward. That's all I can do. I can see that like, oh boy, and it's just this, like my parents look at me or my, my family, my kids look at me like, yeah, dad. And it's like, hey, come on, don't worry about it, right? Laugh when you can. And you just keep moving forward, but don't miss the moments because you're afraid of it. Because at the end of the day, who cares? Who really cares if it took me longer to get up from a table, right? I'm not going to miss that time with my family just because it's going to take me longer. So, think about that. And, and saying that though, here's another tip for you. You have to give yourself grace, right? I used to beat myself up for needing help, but now I try to treat myself like I would a friend, with patience, with a sense of humor, and a reminder that nobody's perfect, not even close, right? Let me say that to you one more time. Nobody's perfect, not even you, not even close, right? So give yourself some grace. If you've ever thought, why bother going out if I just have to explain myself again? Again, I hear you. This is Parkinson's. I'm sorry. I didn't sign up for it. You didn't sign up for it. Nobody signed up for this, right? But we're here, right? And we're figuring it out together. So again, take what I can take. And if this sounds like you, or maybe you got your own my symptoms did what moment, share it in the comments. And then hit subscribe too. If you haven't subscribed, come on, this channel's for you. You know it. Come on, join us for this ride. You never know who's joining. Thousands. We have thousands. We had 1,000 people join this channel and this podcast last month. So come on for the ride. It's going to be fun. And again, in the comments, you just never know who you might help by telling your story. Okay. All right. I put a call out to some of my friends. Okay. And I asked them a little bit about this. And this is what I got. And it was really cool. They delivered. So thank you to my friends. So Susan told me about making it through an entire dinner party just fine, only to freeze completely in the doorway while saying goodbye. Right. So the whole night, I'm out. I'm finished. I did it. Right. And then in the doorway, on her way out, she froze, and of course, she said that's when everybody was watching. Right. So I asked her for a tip. So here's Susan's tip. She said she always scans for sturdy chairs and walls so she can use support just in case. Right. So when she's going to a dinner party, she always looks for the chair that's going to fit her best and maybe a wall that's right near her beside so she can grab onto it or use it for help. So that was a really good tip. So thanks to Susan for that. Rick said he was on for a big work meeting, right? But the minute that he got into the elevator to go home, he went off and he could barely press the button, right? Here's his tip. He got a card. He's got a card in his wallet that explains he has Parkinson's and might need help. He says it saved him from a few awkward elevator moments. So again, if he's kind of stuck and he has trouble talking, he just hands them the card and it says, "Hey," and it's cool. So that's kind of cool. Again, just little tips from people. And you know what? Maybe you have a tip. If you got a tip or something you do, in the comments, let's make a conversation about this. Let's either help each other or help one another. And I'd love just to hear those tips and what you do. Another friend of mine, Janelle told me that she made it to her granddaughter's dance recital, sat through the whole show, and then she got stuck, literally stuck, trying to stand up and leave, right? And she said all that clapping, but I couldn't even get out of my seat. Frustrating, right? She's there, she's enjoying the moment, everything's great. She's thinking to herself, I did it. She's clapping, and then she couldn't get up. So here's her tip. She always gives herself extra time to stand up and lets her family know that she'll need a little help even before the show ends. So again, precursoring the event. Hey, this might happen. And if it doesn't, cool, right? Yay, celebration time. But if it does, at least they know it's coming, and at least they know, hey, it's okay. It's going to give it a bit more time. So if you recognize yourself in these stories, trust me, you're not alone. You're just not. And here's a Bryce-ism. So we heard from Rick and Janelle, but here's a Bryce-ism. This is, what everybody's asking for Bryce-ism all the time. So here it is. With Parkinson's, the only thing predictable is that it's unpredictable. The trick is learning to laugh when you can, ask for help when you need it, and remember, you're doing better than you actually think you are. So what symptom keeps you guessing? Drop it in the comments because we're all in this together. And if you found this helpful, relatable, oh my God, that's so funny. I was thinking of the story in my head. But if you found this helpful, relatable, or you want more real talk, hit the subscribe button. And if you want even more support and you laughs and go deeper, check out the Inner Circle. There's always room for one more, and you can find links in the description to that. But here's one final tip for you. If your symptoms come and go and it feels like nobody gets it, keep a journal of your good, right, and your off times. It's helped me spot patterns, adjust my routine, and even explain things better to my doctor and family. Remember this. If your symptoms come and go and it feels like nobody gets it, that's not your fault. That's just Parkinson's. Unpredictable, it's frustrating, and it's absolutely real. But you're not alone, and together we're stronger. All right, thank you for being here and for showing up and for making this community the most supportive place for people living with Parkinson's on the internet. Stay strong, right? Stay curious and keep doing life one predictable day at a time.
Parkinson's may be part of your life, but it doesn't get to define it. Thanks for listening to Living with Parkinson's, the good, the bad, and the reality. If this episode moved you, helped you, or reminded you you're not alone, share it with someone who needs to hear it. Want to go deeper? The Inner Circle is waiting. Monthly Zoom calls, 24/7 community, and a direct line to Bryce. You'll find the link in the show notes. Until next time, keep showing up and keep doing life today.